What if I told you that your desire to help others is actually a trauma response? In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you why helping might be hurting both you and the people you care about, and what to do instead. Welcome to the Live Free, Love Life podcast, where we discuss how to create more freedom so we can love our lives no matter what we're going through. Hello, my beautiful friends. I have an amazing topic for you today. One thing I've noticed about a lot of women is we have a natural desire to help. I am constantly coaching on this. And here's what I'm going to tell you. Helping isn't always as helpful as we think it is. Today, I'm going to share the transformative truth about the difference between helping, fixing, and serving. Understanding this difference can completely change your experience of giving to others. So let's get real about helping. When you are constantly helping others, you might think that you're being selfless and kind and good. And it's often one of the reasons we do it, so that we can believe we're selfless and kind and good and worthy. Helping is actually a trauma response, typically stemming from childhood experiences of neglect or emotional unavailability. As children, many of us learned that we could receive validation or avoid feelings of inadequacy by taking care of others. Now, as adults, we're still running that same program. Let me paint a picture of what helping looks like. Meet Sarah. She's always the first to volunteer when someone needs something. Her coworker mentions being overwhelmed with a project. Sarah stays late to help, even though she's exhausted and has her own deadlines. Her friend is going through a breakup. Sarah drops everything to be there, canceling her own plans and neglecting her own needs. Her kids need something for school tomorrow. Sarah runs to the store at 9 p.m., even though she's been telling them to get this project done for weeks. On the surface, Sarah looks like the perfect friend, colleague, and mother. But inside, she's exhausted, resentful, and wondering why no one ever seems to be there for her the way she's there for them. She's caught in what therapists call a flight trauma response, constantly running away from her own needs and emotions by focusing on others. This is helping mode. You say yes when you want to say no. You do things out of obligation. You feel resentful after giving. You keep score, even if only subconsciously. You ignore your own needs, or at least make them less important. You feel guilty when you're not helping. And you believe your worth and your goodness come from what you do for others. Okay? Then there's fixing, another trauma response that often shows up as a fight response. When we are in fix it mode, we're actually trying to control our environment to manage our own anxiety. Let me introduce you to Maria. Her teenage daughter comes home upset about drama with her friends. Before her daughter can even finish explaining what happened, Maria is already listing all the things her daughter should do to fix the situation. When her daughter doesn't take her advice, Maria gets frustrated and anxious. She lies awake at night worrying about her daughter's social life and trying to come up with more solutions. At work, Maria is known as the problem solver. She jumps in to fix situations before they're even identified as problems. Her colleagues appreciate her efficiency, but they also feel somewhat diminished, like they're not capable of handling things themselves. Sometimes Maria's fixing tendencies lead to what therapists call reality disorientation. She becomes so invested in her solutions that she has trouble trusting others' perceptions or decisions. She might think, if they would just listen to me, everything would be fine. I know I've thought that before. How about you? This is fixing mode. You give unsolicited advice. You feel anxious when other people struggle. You need to control outcomes. You get frustrated when people don't take your advice. You believe others can't handle their own problems, which is why you have to fix them. You take responsibility for other people's situations, and you feel personally invested in other people's choices. The fix it mentality often comes from our own unhealed wounds. Maybe you couldn't fix your parents' marriage as a child, so now you try to fix everyone else's relationships. Or perhaps you couldn't control the chaos in your early life, So now you try to control everything and everyone around you. Let me say this one more time so it is super clear. Helping and fixing are trauma responses. They are maladaptive behaviors and coping mechanisms. They are signs that you have more healing to do. They are not what we want to strive for. Now, let me introduce you to Lisa, who embodies what it means to serve from a place of wholeness. Lisa runs a community center in a challenging neighborhood. She shows up each day with a full heart, ready to serve. When a teenager comes in struggling with homework, she doesn't jump in to solve the problem. Instead, she sits with them, asks questions, and creates a space where they can find their own solution. When someone shares their struggles with Lisa, she doesn't immediately offer advice or try to fix their situation. She listens with presence and compassion. She sees their wholeness, their capability, their strength, even when they can't see it themselves. At home, Lisa's family knows they can count on her support, but they also know she has boundaries. She might say, I'd love to help you with that project, but I can't do it until after my yoga class tomorrow. She takes care of herself so she can show up fully for others. This is what spiritual teachers call the work of the soul, service that connects us to something larger than ourselves. Notice how Lisa doesn't need anyone to be broken or incapable to feel needed, valued, or appreciated. She's energized by her giving rather than depleted. She maintains healthy boundaries and takes care of herself. She trusts other people's capacity to handle their challenges. She serves from her abundance, not her emptiness. She feels joy in the giving itself, and she doesn't keep score or expect anything in return, ever, not even a thank you. When we are stuck in helping or fixing mode, we're often caught in a trauma response cycle that hurts both ourselves and others. Let's think about this. Every time you jump in to help your teenager with their homework without being asked or even being asked, you're sending the message that you don't think they can handle it themselves. When you immediately offer solutions to your friend's problem, you're implying that they're not capable of finding their own answers. When you drop everything to rescue your coworker from their poor planning, you're enabling behavior that keeps them stuck. I had a client who was exhausted from constantly helping her adult children. Every time they had a financial crisis, which was often, she'd swoop in with money and solutions. She thought she was being a good mom, that she was being helpful. But one day she realized she was actually preventing them from learning how to handle their own finances. Her helping was keeping them dependent on her, which often makes us feel really good, right? Another client spent years trying to fix her husband's career challenges. She had researched job openings, edit his resume, and tell him exactly what to do in interviews. She was caught in a fight trauma response, trying to control everything to manage her own anxiety. Her husband, meanwhile, was in freeze mode, feeling helpless and shutting down emotionally in response to her fixing attempts. These patterns create codependent relationships where both parties feel trapped. They create resentment when others don't appreciate our efforts or take our advice. They lead to burnout from constantly giving beyond our capacity. They create a dynamic where one person feels superior and the other person feels inadequate. And they create relationships where trust and respect are eroded by control and dependency. So, how do we make this shift from helping and fixing to serving? It's not just about changing our actions, it's about healing our trauma responses and transforming our entire approach to giving. So, here are 5 steps to shift from helping and fixing to serving. Step number 1, we need to heal our own wounds. And that starts with understanding our trauma responses. Do you try to control situations and people? That's fight mode. Do you avoid your own needs by focusing on others? That's flight mode. Do you shut down emotionally when things get tough? That's freeze mode. Start by asking yourself, when did I first learn that I needed to help to be worthy? What am I afraid would happen if I stopped helping or fixing? What unmet needs am I trying to fulfill through helping others? This exploration isn't about blame or shame. It's about understanding so we can heal and choose differently. Step number 2, set healthy boundaries. Setting boundaries might feel selfish at first, especially if you're used to always being available. But boundaries are what allow us to serve from a place of wholeness rather than depletion. Start small. Maybe you begin by taking an hour for yourself each day. Or perhaps you practice saying, let me think about that and get back to you, instead of immediately saying yes. One of my clients started with just being honest about her energy levels. Instead of automatically saying yes to every request, she'd check in with herself first. Do I have the energy for this right now? Can I give from a place of fullness? Step number 3, shift your mindset. This is where real transformation happens. Instead of seeing others as broken or needing your help, start seeing them as whole, capable beings who are on their own journey. When your friend is going through a divorce, rather than jumping in with advice and solutions, try sitting with them in their pain. Trust that they have the wisdom to find their path. And that's true of your kids too. Your presence and belief in them might be more valuable than any action you could take. Step number 4, connect with your joy. True service feels like joy. It's energizing rather than depleting. Pay attention to when giving feels light and when it feels heavy. This awareness can help you differentiate between trauma-based helping and genuine service. Step number 5, practice self-care. Self-care isn't selfish. It's what allows us to serve from a place of wholeness. Think of it like filling your cup so you can share from the overflow. This means taking care of your physical health, processing your emotions, setting healthy boundaries, making time for activities that bring you joy, and seeking support when needed. And step number 6, embrace the spiritual dimension. True service connects us to something larger than ourselves. It's about recognizing our interconnectedness and contributing to the greater good. This perspective helps us let go of the need to control outcomes, trust in others' capacity for growth, find meaning in our giving, and serve from a place of love rather than fear. As you reflect on what we've discussed today, here are some questions to consider. What trauma responses do you notice in your helping or fixing behaviors? How do you feel after giving? Energized or depleted? Where in your life are you helping from obligation rather than joy? What would change if you started serving instead of helping? What needs of your own have you been neglecting while helping others? How might your relationships change if you shifted from helping to serving? When we heal our trauma responses and shift from helping and fixing to serving, something magical happens. We find ourselves with more energy, more authentic connections, and more joy in our giving. We're no longer trying to prove our worth through what we do for others. Instead, we're serving from a place of wholeness, creating relationships built on trust, respect, and genuine connection. Remember, you don't need to earn your place in this world by constantly helping others. You're already worthy exactly as you are. When you serve from this place of wholeness, you'll find the joy and fulfillment that you've been seeking all along. Take a moment right now to imagine what it would feel like to give only from a place of fullness and joy, to trust others' capacity to handle their own challenges, to serve without depleting yourself. That freedom is available to you. The journey starts with recognizing where you are now and taking one small step toward true service. Live free, love life. Thanks so much for watching today. Before you go, hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you never miss an episode. And while you're still here, I've got something special for you. My Live Free Love Life membership now has a completely free level. You can start transforming your life right now without spending a dime. You'll get access to certain courses, content, and tools that will help you break free from whatever is holding you back and create a life you absolutely love. And when you're ready for even more support, you can easily upgrade to get access to our live coaching calls, as well as way more tools and content. There's honestly no reason not to join the free level today. Just click the link in the description below to get started. Until next time, live free, love life.